Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for The Secret of Bow Lane. The Secret of Bow Lane is book number 6 in the Cat Holloway mystery series. I read books 1 through 4 over the last couple of years, and then I read book 5 and now book 6. So let's talk briefly about these previous books. This Cat Holloway series is a cozy mystery series, and it's set in the Victorian era. And one thing for sure is it's big on class line and class distinction. Now, our main character in this book is Cat Holloway, because it's Cat Holloway series, right? And she's a young cook, and she finds herself in these predicaments where she is solving crimes. So we meet her in the first book, which is Death Below Stairs. Now, there was a novella called A Soupçon of Poison, but I didn't read that. So I met Cat Holloway in this first book, Death Below Stairs. And I want to give accolades to my friend Fashawn, because she knows how much I love cozies. She knows how much I love British, UK type books. So this was perfect. So on the first one, a maid was killed. And then Cat turned to Daniel McAdam, who is part of Scotland Yard. And as the series grew, it was easy to see the connection between Cat and Daniel. It's very, very slow burning. But when we meet Daniel, he's under disguise. He's under disguise as a delivery man, but we soon find out that he works for Scotland Yard. That's pretty significant when we're learning about Daniel. And then when we move on to Scandal Above Stairs, this was about artwork that had disappeared. So now the artwork has disappeared. Cat is working in a kitchen in her new assignment, because she kind of travels, like for parties and things like that, kind of like today's version of a caterer. So not only does one precious artwork disappear, but another and another. And now Cat feels like she's going to be the one to figure out what's going on. So who does she get in touch with? Daniel McAdam. So he gets involved here. But the funny thing is, remember I said he uses disguises? In the first book, he was a delivery man. In this book, he set himself up as a pawn shop owner. It's very, 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 I love it. I love it. Then we move on to Death in Kew Gardens, book number 3. And in this book here, Cat gets a very precious gift from a scholar, and it's a precious box of tea, okay? But there's just a mystery there that goes back centuries, and it's been a while. It's been years. Well, 2 years since I've read it. But anyway, due to the secrets that involve the gift that she got, it just has this all old feel of China. And because we know that it's, this whole series is London based, but because of the tea that she had gotten, there's a lot of, I would say, atmosphere or just background involving China. And now that's Death in Kew Gardens, as I mentioned. Then Murder in the East End. This was another really good one. Now, first of all, I'm going to just say this. I love that something that happened in Murder in the East End led to one of the scenes that I read in book 5, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, in Murder in the East End, Cat realizes that learns, I should say, that a bunch of several young children that were living in London's Foundling Hospital had disappeared. And not only that, but one of the nurses, because like in those days, the caretakers were pretty much nurses. One of the nurses had been murdered, and not only is she involved, but who does she call? Of course she calls Daniel, okay? So she wants to, A, bring the killer to justice, but B, find out what happened to those children. That's Murder at the East End. So those were all books I read previously. Then I got book 6, which is The Secret of Bow Lane, for review, but I had not yet read book 5, which I'm going to show you right now, Death at Crystal Palace. Now, in this particular book, the Crystal Palace is the location where it's set, and Kat is there to there to observe and exhibit, okay? Now, when she's there, Lady Covington approaches her and says, somebody's trying to kill me. My life is in danger. Well, Kat's there for the duration of the exhibition, so she decides to A, try to help Lady Covington, and B, not work alone. Enter Daniel McAdam. Now, he's got his own thing going on. He's trying to infiltrate a plot against the crown, but Kat needs his help trying to stop a potential murder, the potential murder of Lady Covington. Now, when you see this particular book in this series, you see that Daniel and Kat are getting closer, but something happens and it leads us into book 6, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So you have different layers to this book, Death at the Crystal Palace, because you've got, Kat trying to prove or protect the life of Lady Covington. You have Daniel, who is involved trying to help, but he has a plan and something that's taking his time. Then you have the growing relationship, but then you have conflict. That's the word. That's the best word. You have conflict in that growing relationship between Kat and Daniel. So that was Death at the Crystal Palace. Then we talk about the reason for this video, The Secret of Bow Lane. This is a book that I have a blog tour for, and I'm doing this blog tour for Berkeley. Now, in this book, we have someone who shows up on Kat's doorstep. Her name is Charlotte Bristow, and she is the wife, the legal wife of Joe Bristow. Okay, so what's odd about that? Well, Kat was married to Joe, and he died at sea a dozen years ago. So if she was married to Joe, how could Charlotte have been married to Joe? Because remember, this is the Victorian era, so it's not like there was divorce and remarriage going on. So that's only part of the mystery. The other part of the mystery is Charlotte is positive that Joe had amassed a fortune from a theft, and she wants that fortune. And she says to Kat, you can have part of this fortune if we find it. Now, can Kat find the identity of Joe's murderer? And will she get a portion of that fortune if it's found? Meanwhile, who else comes into the picture? None other than Daniel McAdam, right? He comes in, and this is where their relationship takes a turn. It takes a turn. Something happens in this growing, slow-moving, slow developing, nicely paced relationship between Kat and Daniel. And that kind of started the foundation for that conflict, started in book 5. and it came to a head in this book, book 6. Meanwhile, Kat has to examine the past when it came to being married to Joe and the kind of husband Joe was. And there's another character in this book. Her name is Grace. Grace is Kat's daughter, who happened to be Joe Bristol's daughter. So Joe, when she was married to Joe, she got pregnant with Grace. As we learned very early on in the series, Kat is struggling, Kat is single, Kat is widowed, so she places her daughter in the home of a loving, fruitful family. And Grace is very, very happy. She sees Grace very regularly. They go and they walk and they get ices and they're just very, very close. Well, now we start to see where Grace came from, because in all these other books, we didn't know anything about Kat's husband, Joe. What a good series. Oh my goodness. Really good, solid writing, fabulous characters. Even your secondary characters, like in this one, I think it's Cynthia. Is it Cynthia? Oh gosh, I gotta think. Cynthia was our character in the other one. Charlotte. Oh, there's another character, but see, as good as my memory is, when it comes to the side characters, my brain just says, Robin, you don't need that. There's no room for that. Just worry about the plot. Worry about the main characters. And so anyway, good. Yes. This is book 6, but it's just as good as books 1 through 5. Now, can this be read as a standalone? Yes, it could, because of it encapsulating the marriage, the duplicity when it came to Charlotte also having been married to Joe, and the evolution and changes in Kat's relationship with Daniel. But if you like continuity, you're going to want to read all the books in this series like I did. And that's about it for this review. So let's take a quick look. Okay, you can get this at your Kindle store for $11.99, or you can use an audiobook credit, or you can do what I did because I had to get book 5. You can go to your online library. So get your local library card from your local library branch, and that will help you to connect to Libby, Overdrive, and Hoopla. But Overdrive is shutting down in 2023. So you want to focus on Libby and Hoopla. So grab a library card, support your local library by means of these fabulous books. Alrighty, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.